Hey y'all, so today we're going to hit on the topic of losing weight or gaining weight without counting your calories or macros. So you guys know that I am a firm believer in if it fits your macros and flexible dieting. However, I know this does not work for everybody. Numbers are not supposed to rule your life, and I know with macro tracking and flexible dieting, that can become an issue. And so what I'm going to do today is give you guys some tips on how to reach your goals without specifically tracking your calories or tracking your macros. So, how do we do this? Portion sizes and food group control. This does mean that you're going to have to count your food groups and look at your portion sizes. You have to make sure you're in a deficit, and so by making sure that you know what your intake is, you can control that to be able to reach your goals. So, first, let's go into how many servings a day should you get certain nutrients. Now, with weight loss, you do have to be in a caloric deficit. So this means that your calories are below the amount you need to maintain your weight. Now, with gaining muscle, you will have to make sure you are in a calorie surplus. So this means eating more food than you would be to maintain your weight. Now, for me, my suggestion is 150 to 200 calories either way for your goals. So that means a deficit or a surplus. Now, with this specific method of dieting, you have to figure out your maintenance first. So my suggestion is by starting this way with this amount of food. Now, this is for a typical 1700 to 1800 calorie diet, and this should be around maintenance for a 150-pound woman who is either sedentary or active. It depends because every metabolism is different and every person is different. So you just have to play with it first. So let's first dive into the food groups and the amounts to eat to figure out this maintenance. My first suggestion regarding vegetables. So vegetables, you want 4 to 5 servings a day. This is 2 cups of vegetables. And what 2 cups would be in regards to servings would be 2 cups of leafy greens, such as kale, romaine lettuce, and then you have raw or cooked vegetables. And a serving would be a cup of either raw or cooked vegetable, like broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus. So 1 cup, you can equivalent that to ounces. Do it there if you're going to measure that. Now, going into fruit, the same thing. 1 cup equals 1 cup fresh, 1 cup cooked. However, you have to make sure you account for anything that's dried. So that would be a 4th cup of dried. So say you do raisins, dried bananas, because that is more calorically dense than the fresh option. And you should always go with the fresh option, in my opinion, trying to stick to seasonal fruit options. So I know right now berries are in season, so hit up your berries, eat your berries, strawberries, they're all good. And then we go into grains. So my suggestion is making sure that half of your grains are whole grains. Why? Because whole grains play a major role in fiber and digestion, and they have a lot more nutrients than refined grains. So the amount of servings that you should have for grains is 5 to 6 to start out with. So what is a serving size for your carbs and your grains? That would be a half a cup of rice. Bella, give me a boo-boo. A half a cup of rice, 1 cup cereal, 1 slice of medium bread, half a cup of beans, lentils. So with carbohydrates, what you do have to account for is there is different fiber in these carbs, because I know there's high fiber cereals, high fiber pastas these days, and you also have to look and see if there's anything added. Like I know a lot of products add in fats in different cereals. They add in protein. So I know there's some pasta that has like 22 grams of protein. So you do have to look at the caloric information in regards to these choices. And breads can have various amounts of different carbohydrates and added nutrients as well. So one piece of bread may be 7 grams of carbs. One piece of bread might be 14 grams of carbs. For me, what I'm saying right here is a serving is around 25 grams of carbs. That would be equivalent to 1 ounce. When I'm saying that you have to have 5 servings of carbs a day, 5 times 25, that doesn't give you a lot. But you also have to remember in that calculation, there are carbs in other foods. So there are carbs in some of your fats. There are carbs in some of your fruits and vegetables. So all this is going to add up. And this is for specific finding your maintenance. So you're going to have to add or subtract from there. That is carbs. Now, what about protein? Well, for the average person who is sedentary, that is 0.8 grams per kilogram as the RDA for protein. However, I always suggest doing either 1 gram per kilogram or going to 1.5 to 2 grams up to 2.5 grams if you are active. Protein is very important in your body, and it is less likely to be converted to fat, to be converted in gluconeogenesis into carbohydrates. So I wouldn't specifically worry about having too much protein. However, if you are at like 3 grams per kilogram, that is probably the highest you ever want to go. There are no benefits seen that will help above that limit. Now, what is a serving size for a protein? That is 1 ounce. So in this protein suggestion, I am just going to come out from the dietary guidelines for Americans, and they say 5 servings. I'm going to say 7 servings. So that means that you are getting 7 ounces of meat a day. 1 ounce equals 1 ounce. 1 egg equals 1 ounce of protein. 1 tablespoon of peanut butter equals 1 ounce of protein. However, you then have to calculate it into your fat intake. And also for protein, you have, I think it is a 1/4 cup nuts and seeds. Now, after that, let's go into dairy. So, dairy, amazing. However, I know a lot of people can be lactose intolerant, lactose sensitive. If you are not lactose intolerant or lactose sensitive, eat your dairy. Dairy has iron, calcium, vitamin D, amazing, amazing nutrients that you need in your body to be able to function, to be able to reach your goals. So, dairy, 2 cups a day. That means 1 cup of milk, yogurt, 1.5 cups of natural cheese. No, that's 1.5 ounces of natural cheese. So dairy, you want 2 cups a day, and those are the portion sizes. Now, we have to go into fats. So fats, the suggestion from the dietary guidelines for Americans is 22 grams of oils a day. Now, we all know that not everybody's going to eat oils for your fats. My suggestion with fat intake is going 2 to 3 servings of fat. And for me, that means a serving is 16 grams of fat. So if you are counting your portion sizes, you are looking at your food groups, you do have to account for the fats and the other sources of your foods that you use. So say you go choose a carb, and the carb has 8 grams of fat, and then say you have a protein source that has 8 grams of fat. You have to make sure you account for that in your fat intake. So 16 grams of fat would be a tablespoon of 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. It would be half a serving of lean ground steak. You also have to account for the protein in that. It would also include oils, so 1 to 2 tablespoons of oils. So 2 to 3 servings of fat a day is my suggestion there. What you do want to watch is the source of your fats. So there are saturated fats, there are monounsaturated fats, and there are polyunsaturated fats. So a saturated fat has 0 double bonds. Those are going to be your animal, your dairy fats, and things like coconut oil. So with those fats, they are able to stack up in the body easier. So that can lead to problems with dyslipidemia, so elevated blood lipids. However, if you don't have that problem, if you don't have cardiovascular disease, you don't really have to worry too much about saturated fats. I love saturated fats. I eat probably 4 egg yolks a day, and I love me some coconut oil. So That being said, saturated fat is not the devil. Just be careful if you have to worry about those risk factors. Polyunsaturated fats have 2 or more double bonds. These come from amazing sources. They are N3 fatty acids, N6 fatty acids. N3 fatty acids are really great for anti-inflammatory benefits. You do want to watch your N6 fatty acids because those can have some inflammation in the body. So if you deal with PCOS, IBS, all that stuff, you do want to watch your N6 fatty acid intake. So polyunsaturated fatty acids come from soybean, flaxseed, chia seeds, and monounsaturated fatty acids come from canola, olive oil, avocados, nuts. There are great options for you. So make sure that when you're doing this method of reaching your goals, you account for the fats in your diet. Now, in regards to once you figure out your maintenance, so what you want to do is you want to watch these portions, you want to watch your food groups and stick to this for a week. Figure out what happens with your body. If you start to gain a little bit of weight, now also you have to watch out because weight gain 1 to 5 pounds is normal in a human because of water, because of sodium, because of stress, because you didn't poop that day. So it changes. However, if you notice an amount of fat gain, then you would want to cut down a food group, cut out half a serving fat. You probably don't have to worry about cutting down your protein. If you notice that you are losing weight and that is your goal, that's great. Stick to that. If you want to continue that, just watch the scale, watch your body lean out, and if you stall, you may either need a refeed. I did a video on refeeds. That will actually make you either track calories for that day or just make sure you boost up your carbohydrates that day. Or you have to cut down a food group if you are not moving, which means you need to be even more in a deficit. However, you can also be in a deficit with cardio, so then you could add in 10 minutes more cardio, you could add in a cardio session, you could add an extra day of lifting because lifting burns calories, and it is also really good for muscle retention and bones. Now, with this method of dieting, this does mean that you are kind of on your own, and that is why I always do suggest you either have a second eye, so have a friend, have your mom. I know I have had my mom look at my pictures before and ask, hey mom, do you think I'm making changes? So have a friend, have your mom, have your dad, anybody, have them be a second objective eye or get a coach. I know that I have some clients myself who don't want to track calories, so we do food groups and it works for them and it is helpful for them to make this more of a lifestyle and they don't like tracking specific numbers, so it works for them. With your diet, it's all about what works for you, so I highly suggest you figure out your method of dieting that works for you as well as your exercise. So you don't have to lift weights, you don't have to always do a bunch of cardio. It's all about what works for you. However, if you need to be in a caloric deficit, you do have to do activity. So I do suggest using cardio as a tool, using lifting as a tool. Those are the best methods for burning the most amount of calories at a time. However, you can go do swim, you could do cat aerobics, cat yoga, you can do a bunch of different activities, taekwondo, kickboxing, all this stuff. There are many, many different things you can do. Find what works for you, find what's fun, and by doing this food group, serving size, all that will help you to be able to find your caloric intake without specifically counting calories and adjust from there. So I'm going to put little infographics here and around here so you guys can see what a portion size is, portion control. You don't have to worry about specifically always weighing your food and measuring your food if that is problematic for you. So just make sure you figure out what works best for you and your lifestyle. I hope this gives you guys some options to how you can make this your lifestyle without tracking calories or macros. So I hope you guys like this video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, you like this video, and you tell me below what you want to learn about. So I have my last final of my undergrad classes tomorrow. I'm super excited. It's in my food policy class, which I freaking love. So I'm going to be doing that, and then I'm going to have a bachelor's in dietetics from the University of Georgia, so I'm excited. Bella, honey, you're the one. You make my life so much fun. Bella, honey, how could nobody just love you? Do 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 do.